days of the week, I particularly love Saturday, apart from the fact that it's that day for me to ease into the relaxing mood that the weekend brings. It's also a day to enjoy one of the longest, the longest running sports show on Nigerian television. Hot Sport is here again. Thank you so very much for joining us. As always, my name is Babajide Guerrero, and this is Hot Sport. The gentlemen are in the studio with me. I've kept the same team for the past couple of weeks because these guys are really holding down their jerseys very, very nicely. I start with Eyino Igbinige. Eyino, how are you?
Fine, good morning.
Eyino, stop wearing white native. Because do you go to Saturday parties every Saturday? I mean, almost as if every Saturday you just want to wear native and then just after the show, PM,
is white
go
for
to
peace.
eat.
I don't want to argue today.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So if white is for peace, is black for war?
Yes, exactly. Because he's going to be the one to only start the trouble.
How you doing, Lele?
I'm good. Great to be on the show. Wonderful morning, as always. Hot Sports, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Being on the platform, of course. I'm ready for the deal.
All right, so the deal here for us is to bring you the very best of sports news making rounds this week. And trust me, it's been a loaded week in terms of sports, from tennis to football to the UEFA Nations League, as well as boxing, as Anthony Joshua is also lined up to fight Povetkin very, very soon. All this news and more will return. But then again, it's also important for us to bring you the main issue, which is going to be discussed right after this break. Stick around. This is Hot Sport, and we're about to get this party started.
Bros, I dey find correct words.
Huh? See the shop for that side.
Auntie, look how
That be correct words.
Now the shop be done, now the next one.
Peter, see as people they pack, they go to the shop, go buy clothes. It don't reach like 5 days now. I just suspect this Tunde way this is where in Waka could carry Waka. See, I go blow whistle. I go blow some to go spoil.
Your whistle! Come on, go investigate the matter before you blow whistle. Whistle blood. Come on, come on.
Thank you for coming.
Show first.
Wait, come. Not only you the circular for this market. Why be say only your shop everybody come?
I just want blow whistle.
See, I go blow something.
This will be whistle blowing matter. Now MTN goodie bag.
What it be MTN goodie bag?
With MTN goodie bag, if you carry your market enter another level, whether not for Facebook or for WhatsApp or for Twitter, for as low as 25 naira.
25 naira.
Yes, so dial *131*3# with just 25 naira daily or 50 naira weekly. You go get double data to browse Facebook, Instagram, chat, WhatsApp. Make yourself come to get double.
Welcome back to the show. This is Hot Sports, and we're just getting ready, to probably go into the very first deal of the day. Well, of course, this is a big fish to fry. It's the biggest news in the world of sports this week. This particular segment is brought to you by MTN, and the question we're asking this morning is that the U.S. Open Finals, was Serena Williams a bad loser, or is she justified for her actions? Of course, we also saw the way she, went about that particular game. She sparked a bit of controversy, especially when she, hit a racket on the ground, and of course, heard some words calling umpire Carlos Ramos a thief and a liar. All right, so the gentlemen are in the studios, and they've already taken their sides, and one is for, of course, the other will be against.
I'm against that behavior. I think she was a bad loser. Yeah, I understand she's the champ. She's the greatest female tennis player of all time. So I think she hasn't been used to that kind of situation before. So I think it was wrong the way she acted.
I feel Serena Williams was justified because she had to follow through emotions at that time. And of course, the referee to her was really unfair because two players on the court in a big final, and of course, having decisions not going her way. So she just had to act as soon as possible, and of course, she did it as a human being.
Do well to send your messages on that particular line on your screen. And for the ones who sent messages to us last week, we thank you very much. We'll definitely get to read one or two of your messages. When we come back after this break, the argument would, of course, resume proper. So we get into it. The gentlemen are they're not waiting. So let's just get right into it. Lale, what's your thoughts?
I think Serena Williams, 36-year-old, was actually justified on the day because she was actually deducted points, and knowing full that opponent in the final. That was talking about Naomi Osaka actually defeated her earlier in one of the Miami Opens. Of course, this should have been more like a revenge for her, but at the end of the day, it didn't go away. After already losing, 2 sets, and of course not having result gone away, she just had to, make sure she got, the better of the umpire. Talking about Ramos, who in a way wasn't just, at her side, and you feel that at the end of the day, she gave her reasons for why, saying that whatever has happened does happen in the male, when the males do play. So why would she be the scapegoat?
Okay, but
why
wait,
would
sorry,
she be
I think
the one
I want to come in quickly.
Because thinking about,
can I come in quickly?
Aside from
I think it's going somewhere with this line. Let's just let him land.
Grand Slam in which she would have won maybe for I think from the 5th or 6th time there or thereabout, and you expect that after coming from pregnancy, after exactly a year, it should have been.
But does that justify why she calls the guy a liar and a
yeah,
cheat?
because she was
but see, Olale, today I think we're talking about one of the greatest. We're talking about one of the greatest, not just female tennis player of all time. We're talking about one of the greatest tennis player of all time. Now, what has happened? What has happened to her is the fact that she's not used to losing. Now, let's be honest to ourselves. If you're a champion, if you're known for winning, the older you get, your game is going to depreciate. So you won't be used to losing in that way. That's why you see great players when they know it's time. Let me call it a little quit. Serena hasn't gone there yet, but now she's getting to a stage where she hasn't experienced this kind of thing. To me, she had a meltdown. There's nothing we can talk about it. You made the statement about male that she because I was seeing people are trying to play the sexy card, people are trying to play the risk card. But let's ask ourselves, if men really do it and they get away with it, is it even right? Because men do it, men do what is wrong. So now a woman has done what is wrong, and instead of us to actually say the men do it and it's wrong, the women, what we are saying is the woman has done it, but it's a man, he has done it. No, the thing is, you said, I like what you said. You said it was a revenge, so we even acknowledge that early this year, Osaka defeated her. Osaka defeated her, and the good thing is that Osaka defeated her two straight sets. Now this Osaka had won the first set, the second set Osaka was leading, meaning she was going to win the game. Serena had the outburst. Now we say the referee was biased. The referee gave her a warning the first time. He didn't say anything. He just gave her a warning that your coach is telling you what to do, and it was just a warning. The referee said nothing. The second one, she got angry. She smashed her racket. Serena is a role model to young girls. See, this thing has happened.
Whatever she has done was heat of the moment.
No, it's heat of the moment, and that is why. That is why we look. That's why they are role models to society.
Gentlemen, hold on a little bit. I like where this is going. Really, I like the fact that we are educating each other as whether or not the actions was right or not. But let's look at this scenario. Okay. So the coach of Serena was doing like this. He was saying like a thumbs up, and Serena said, "I didn't see this done. I didn't see the coaching." But the coach came out to say after the match that he was actually coaching. But Serena didn't see it. And the umpire was saying that
you dropped the point. The umpire.
But the issue where I'm going with this is that she didn't see it.
But
she reacted
how does the guy know that she didn't see it? See, what the guy was saying. See, the fact is, let me tell you something. Let me explain something. Exactly. So now let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to our viewers now. This was happened.
No, it wasn't the first time.
This was happened now. The first time he gave her a warning, meaning the guy had seen the coach do it, but he didn't look at Serena. There's no way he can look at Serena and the coach. No, yeah, it was on the coaching. Watch the video. He said warning for coaching, and the coach looked at the camera, and you saw his face, and Serena went to him and said I wasn't listening, but the guy ignored. Now after they had the break that she smashed a racket, she went to sit down. She was saying he's a liar, he's a cheat. Then she said she would do it for her daughter. See, those things Serena did. To me, Serena had a meltdown. Serena is a very fantastic tennis player, and she has never experienced that. And I think because Naomi Osaka is defeating her for the second time again, and she's looking like,
so you feel it's just been a frustrated Serena?
Yes, I just feel it happens.
It's just like you get bad officiating, you have to complain.
Hold on.
You get bad officiating in football or other sports, you have to complain. Or the official has to come on and complain on your behalf.
Let's look at this. I want to come to you first
play,
now.
Iggy Haga or whatever into this issue. Come on.
Somebody's going Honorable Obayagmo way, Iggy Haga, but it's fine, I liked it. But Lale,
what she did was still wrong though.
Lale, let me come from the angle of the part where, just dropped it now, of being a mother. She said at some point that she would not cheat, and then she has a daughter.
Because she felt in a way that she didn't deserve to be cut out.
Yeah.
What she was trying to lay claim is the fact that she never saw, the coach, but of course the umpire saw the coach, and at the end of the day, she became the scapegoat. So for a person that is almost losing out in the final, you did expect that she was always going to react, and that's what is the cause of this debate. She is human. Nobody is saying.
I like the fact you just said losing. That made me so happy.
No. Losing the fight. If you lose, excuse me. If you do lose, you can always come back when there's a chance. Excuse me. If you are losing and you have a chance to come back, that has not been truncated. It means you have a choice or you have a hope to come back. But of course, it was actually truncated. So what do you expect from her?
I would never.
She said she never saw the coach.
That's his definition.
This is happening in split second, just like referees that do take decisions in football.
We're talking about doping. We're talking about this. The umpires.
Let us cause her this slack.
Right now, I'm looking at you. Can I see Leia?
No.
Now, do I know if Leia is telling you something? The viewers can actually say that Leia is not telling you anything. But me myself, I could just have the feel. I could just have.
But she didn't see. That's what she was saying, that she would never cheat. She has a child.
I think we're getting this wrong.
Let's just get this right as well.
The umpire warned her against coaching, meaning if your coach tells you something, the rule is your coach does not tell you anything, whether you see it or not.
Why was the coach not then absconded from the crowd?
Yeah, that is Serena and her coach.
Come on, because
ITF doesn't pay the coach.
Wow, gentlemen,
the coach action is going to cost Serena.
Excuse me.
We are at that particular point of the show where these gentlemen have to leave their final thoughts, but it's going to be difficult getting it out of them. But I want to start with what are your final thoughts here?
Is the attitude Serena has displayed was wrong. I think she owes not just the umpire an apology, she owes the whole world an apology because she's a role model and she should understand that little kids look up to her. For you to call an umpire who's just doing his job, who has been employed by somebody to do this and actually make the game interesting and better for both people, for you to call him a liar and a cheat on air is very wrong. For you to smash your tennis racket on air is very wrong. For you to do that ad burst on TV is very wrong, and all I just feel she needs to do is apologize to everybody and we move on.
Olale, I'm sure you don't take the apology lightly.
I hope it's never Serena Williams or being in her shoes, and of course maybe go through whatever she has gone through. Excuse me, what she has gone through before the finals. Really, the deed has been done, but of course, like I said, like I said earlier, she is human. She had to react, to whatever is happening because it's happening in split seconds. So you can't just fault her. This is the final we're talking about, and of course, she said that she wasn't really giving the best in terms of officiating. So she just had to let do with whatever is in her. So I guess for me, it might not actually happen again, but of course, it has happened.
Well, it has happened, and that particular argument has happened, and that's where we're going to leave it at this particular point in time. But we'll return for a final whistle after the show. That'll be the last thing I wrap up with. For now, we'll go for a quick break, and we'll return. It is time for Sports Hotspots. Don't go anywhere.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Adam, go and bring us your husband. Okay, hello baby.
We're in this together, okay? Can you hear me? Keep coming forward.
Wait, stop.
You okay, lean to your right. Keep walking down. Keep walking to the left. Yes.
You're almost here.
Keep going.
You are here. Wow, you did it.
I'm just so glad I didn't have to use my cane to do this.
And I am so glad no other man got you before me. Let me be your eyes.
We will never stop working to give you a network you can rely on so you can enjoy life's special moments. MTN, everywhere you go.
You're welcome back to the show, and we are done and dusted with debating and arguing. Right now, it's ours to bring us some of the finest news in the world of sports. This is Sports Hotspot, and we're looking at some of the news making rounds. The UEFA Nations League was live during the FIFA international break, and we saw juicy football games, amazing, especially when Croatia lost to Spain 6-0, and of course Belgium taking full maximum points against Team Iceland by 3-0. 2-0 as well. But did you see 6-0 Croatia?
Not at all. World Cup finalists, playing against France at the World Cup. We thought that the momentum would still be on for them, but it was quite sad. They had to lose that much against Spain, a team who didn't do well at the World Cup. So I actually saw a funny tweet over the course of aftermath of the game that hope the Croatian president, the woman, hope she won't be crying at this point. Of course, it's football. I hope they have to learn from this, because if you play as well as much as in the finals of the World Cup, and aftermath of that, playing leagues like this or competitive games like this, and you're losing in such fashion is quite sad. Some people,
Spain,
it doesn't actually matter.
It's not their fault. It's for mine.
Mandzukic, maybe some players are like Mandzukic, retired. Some people are making claim with the fact that they've missed, one of their free players are retired from the national football. But this is not a good one for a team that played at the World Cup just from a few weeks ago.
I think my own chip about the whole game is that, first of all, it's an home and away thing. So they went to Spain. Like the World Cup is a neutral ground. Now you're in Spain, you're in Spanish territory. My guy, I wasn't expecting anything more. Because Spain was always going to win that match. The beauty about that, the Spanish team I love now, is the fact that Luis Enrique, we are not going to see those 1,000 passes anymore. We're going to see direct football.
Well, Liberia played Nigeria in an exhibition game. It was ended 2-1. That particular game saw President George Weah, as a president now, taken to the pitch, and of course he donned his usual jersey number 14, and that particular jersey was retired after that particular game for life. But the question is, how many stars does Liberia have in the first place?
You never can tell. You never can tell.
All right, that's just me being funny. Right? Don't mind me. But what I'm saying is, but what we're saying is that it was a good outing for the boys. We saw Enyo Yekuru, we saw Mwako Simiwako, and I think, quite frankly, that Onyekuru scored a good goal.
Yeah,
I think I like the goal.
For the young lad who did good early on in the season, which is our current club in Turkey, talking about Galatasaray. But of course, for the game, a lot of people have, pundits alike, have actually said that why couldn't the game be prosecuted by strictly home-based players? But of course, the foreign pros work that they did the needful. Simiwako got his first goal, as well as Enyo Yekuru for Nigeria. And of course, you expect that a lot of people felt it was more like an exhibition game, more than a friendly. But the deed has been done. Aftermath of defeating Seychelles, went as far as Liberia, and of course, they did the job.
We're at the court right now for some hoops and dunks, while we see the Tigers will play in the World Cup in Spain. A tournament will be hosted in Tenerife in Spain from September the 22nd to September 30th. They will play in the same group as Argentina, Australia, and Turkey. In Group B, Senegal are also the only other African country at the tournament. And as usual, we want to thank, we were thinking that this should be a good tournament, but that group looks a little bit tough. Argentina, Australia, Turkey.
Yeah, tough task ahead of for the coach. Talking about Alex Nwora, he's the coach of the basketball men's national team. You expect that enough preparation will be given to this lad. We got a couple of old guys coming into the frame, to the team, so you expect that a lot of preparation will be put into this. As you said, you're playing the likes of Argentina, Australia, and talking Group B. So much will be expected, and hopefully Nigeria will fall through.
Well, before we go and get out of the studio, the Formula One is going to be live this weekend as Singapore hosts the Grand Prix. Singapore's Grand Prix, and the engine are going to be revved up at the moment. Lewis Hamilton, of course, pulled a dramatic victory at the Italian Grand Prix, and he continues his domination this season. But Vettel is smarting and could probably bring a huge upset in this Singapore Grand Prix. And the question is going to be, can Hamilton extend his championship lead, or will Vettel take this 15th race of the season, to another level? Of course, that will be one of the major gists and talking points for next week's show. But finally, on the show, before we go, tonight we'll see the reigning defending champion of the WBA, WBC middleweight title holder. The champion, Gennady Golovin, will fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez tonight at Las Vegas in Nevada. It's for the WBA, WBC, IBF, and IBO championship title. Of course, course, this particular bout will be live tonight, and this would be quite interesting. Alvarez lost his fight against Floyd Mayweather in 2013. It's a rematch. Of course, these two first met in September 2017, which ended in a very, very controversial draw. Well, controversy will also resume this weekend in the EPL because it's a league of a lot of who's, has, controversy and noise. But hey, Spurs will play Liverpool today. We also would see Watford play Manchester United, City play Fulham, and Chelsea at home to Cardiff. I start with you. The pick of the pack has to be Spurs taking on Liverpool.
Well, quite sad for Spurs last time out. They lost against Watford, but of course for Liverpool, one of the few teams that have actually had 100% starts to the Barclays Premier League. Hopefully, it might continue that tide. Yet again, Tottenham may be a sting in the neck for them. We get to see how that will unfold.
It's a very good game, though. Tottenham Liverpool, very amazing game. No negative football, no pack the ball statics, no complain that they didn't buy player for you. So it's a very lovely game. Looking forward to Newcastle Arsenal too. That's a very, very lovely game. Today we have a lot of matches. So you see why I'm on white today. Today is just a very
peaceful day. Okay.
Peaceful day.
All right. So
enjoy football. Yeah.
Finally, before we go on the show, the guys are having fun. So much fun in the studio. I need to probably put a bar and the measuring the fun that you guys have in the studio. All right, so let's just take one or two text messages, from our platform. They should not scrap. Yes, last week's topic was whether or not UEFA should scrap the away goal rule, and then we got some feedbacks and quite interesting one. This one is quite interesting. He said they should not scrap it. Sometimes we leave football houses at 11 p.m. because of UEFA Champions League. But now, if you add extra time and penalty shootout, it should extend to 12 midnight. If you are unlucky with away goal, is left to you. Many are saying penalty is not the best to judge. Should penalty shootout be removed as well? Well, that's rather a point of a gentleman coming in at that particular time. Abdullah Ibrahim from Kaduna, I want away goals rule scrapped. They should work with goals and point. Away goal is a fairer way of deciding the winner in a match than penalty shootout. Penalty shootout in most cases gives away victory to the lucky side. Away goal should not be abolished in UEFA Champions League. This is Lainos from Abuja. All right, so this is simple. Just send a text message. Please do not call. Send a text message to the number on your screen to have your text message read on the show. Well, this is where we draw the curtain on today's show. But before we leave you, I need to give you my own final whistle as regards the debate we had earlier today, whether or not Serena Williams is a bad loser or a justified person for her outburst at the final against Naomi Osaka. It's time for our final whistle. And the president of the Women Tennis Association, Billie King, Jean Billie King, said something I really want to probably latch on as my final whistle. Serena was out of line. She was indeed out of line. She was wrong to have called the gentleman, the umpire, a thief and a liar, that he stole a point from her. We all saw what happened. But then again, that's Serena Williams, a woman who was pregnant at a point, coming back to be the first person to tie to 24 Grand Slams. So it's fine to say her emotions got the best of her. But could Carlos Ramos, the umpire, could he have done better? Oh, yes, certainly he should have. Or rather, certainly he didn't handle that situation quite well. Because we see these things, we know these things. We shouldn't call names of some other tennis players that are males that have over the years been tennis bad boys. We see them get away with stuff like that. So I think strongly that if at all the question is whether or not she's justified for her actions or she was a bad loser. We saw it eventually that she was the one that calmed the bulls at that particular medal, or probably should I say handing over of the trophy to Naomi Osaka. Naomi had a visor on. She was crying. She was petting Naomi. She was a bigger sister there. She was a better human being. But at that particular time, she had a meltdown. Just show that she's human. Was she justified? I think she was justified. What are your thoughts exactly? Because that's my final whistle. This show is for you guys. We are just the pilots of this show. So we need your thoughts, please. Tell us exactly what exactly is on your mind as regards this issue. Was she justified or was she just a bad loser? Till we come your way again next week Sunday. Hey, keep wearing white. Till we come your way next week Sunday. Sorry. Till we come your way again next week Saturday. Till we come your way again next week Saturday. Hey, Keep wearing white?
Yeah, thank you very much. I keep wearing my white.
Olale, I don't want you to keep wearing black.
Finally, I got the note.
Okay. You got the final whistle?
Always good to be here, as always. And of course, to our esteemed listeners out there, thanks always for keeping faith with us.
Gentlemen, I've already done great justice to the show today, but we thank you very much for being part of it. We'll come your way again definitely next week, Saturday, to have more fishes to fry. But till then, look after yourselves and each other. Babajide Guerrero signing out. Adios.